Hey, welcome back to my channel. So it being garden seasoning, I want to talk about fertilizers. So I know many of us go to the store and we buy fertilizers, and I used to do that for many years, but now I make my own fertilizer, and I'd like to give you guys a little bit of insight on how I do it. So hi, my name is Tracy. Welcome to Tracy's Local Learnings. If you're new here and if you're one of my wonderful subscribers, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys learned something new, and if you do, smash the thumbs up. Okay, let's get into it. So I was taught by my mother, when it comes to fertilizers, there's 3 numbers on a bag. And those numbers are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And what they mean is up, down, and all around. And what I mean by that is the nitrogen is for up. So it's for the height of your plant, for your leaves and your foliage on the plant. The phosphorus is for down. It's for your root growth, your fruit and flower development. And potassium is for all around. So it's for the strength of your stem, disease resistance, and the development of fruit. So it's really important that we have all of these things in our fertilizers. And I want to talk to you about how I make mine, because I don't like wasting my money on things I can do myself. So when it comes to nitrogen, the first one, my go-to is my chicken manure, hence why I have chickens. It's not the only reason I have chickens, but their manure is abundantly amazing. It helps my garden and the whole property in every way possible. So chicken manure, now you can use any manure, but I find that some of the other manures can be a little bit too much and they'll get hot and burn, especially when you're doing seedlings and stuff. So I tend to stick to chicken manure. The other thing you can use is alfalfa. Now, when we had goats, we would buy the bales of alfalfa, and I would just take some of that and throw it into my compost tea. You can buy alfalfa meal. You can buy alfalfa pellets. The benefit to the alfalfa pellets is it's going to slow release over time into your garden. So it's like a more constant way of doing it. Now for the phosphorus, what I use, or what is the best to use for your root development, is bone meal, banana peels, and fish meal. Now you can go to the store and buy those things, or you can do it yourself. I make my own bone meal, and how I do it is I keep my bones throughout the year. I keep a lot of my chicken bones and beef bones for making bone broth, but I also keep pork bones and fish bones, and I freeze them. When I'm ready to do my fertilizer in the spring, I take them out, I wash them really, really well, and then I put them in the oven at 300 degrees for 3 hours. Now, it's really important to do that for 3 hours. You want to kill any bacteria or anything like that on the garden, or I mean in the bones, because you don't want to add that to your garden. You want to keep it clean and do it correctly. Okay, so that is the phosphorus. Now the potassium is a fairly easy one to do. You can get potassium from wood ash, like I use my fire pit outside or the fireplace. Another way is Epsom salts. Now Epsom salts, depending on where you go, can be fairly expensive, but if you go to a dollar store, they always have Epsom salts. The key to it is always get fragrance-free, scented-free, 100% pure Epsom salts. That is the best way to get the potassium into your garden, as well as banana peels. Also, I keep some of my eggshells. Again, I wash them. I put them in the oven at 300 degrees for 3 hours to make sure there's no bacteria, nothing gross that I'm going to be adding to my vegetables. So when I make my compost tea, what I do is I take a big garbage can, because I have a huge property. I have a lot to water and fertilize. I have 3 garbage cans. I start one at the beginning and I add everything I need into that compost tea. And how I do that is I take a piece of 100% cotton, organic if you have it, Old bed sheets and stuff are really good for that purpose, or t-shirts or anything like that. And you basically make a tea, but instead of putting it in a tea bag like for ourselves, we're doing it for the garden. So I just put whatever I need into that fabric and I knot it up and I throw it into the water. Then I stick a lid on it and I leave it for 3 weeks. Now, because again, I have such a big property, I start a new one. Oops. I start a new one every week, just to make sure that I don't run out. So when I put my ingredients into my compost tea, one of my go-tos is dandelion. Now, dandelion has a super long taproot. That's why it has so many nutrients and micronutrients and minerals in it. So I use that in my compost tea. I add dandelions, plantain, clovers, anything. I mean, it all has nutrients. Even if you're pruning back blackberry bushes or raspberry bushes, throw that into your compost tea because it's all going to benefit your garden. And then I'll put my lid on it and I'll leave it for about 3 weeks. Now, I want to tell you that when you open that lid, it's gonna stink. I mean, that is the purpose of it, right? You're letting it compost. Again, the reason I use garbage cans is they're a dark color, so the heat really gets in there, and you're kind of making a sun tea, but you're letting it go crazy, right? So any kind of weeds you can add in there. Like I said, eggshells, make sure that you do the baking process. You don't want to add anything funky to your garden. Um, the other thing I do is I grow a lot of comfrey. And there's a lot of medicinal reasons that I grow comfrey, but I also grow it for my garden. Because again, it is packed full of nutrients and minerals and all that stuff. Now, when it comes to comfrey, you can do what's called chop and drop. So you basically just chop it and let it fall into the soil, put it wherever you want, into your baskets or anything, and it's going to take the nutrients in that way. I also add it to my compost tea because, like I said, it's just, I have an abundance of it and it's so healthy for our plants. So like tomatoes typically when you go and buy compost or fertilizer at the store, it's like a 5-7-3, right? Focusing more on the roots and the height of the plant. So you can really control the development of your garden through your fertilizers. You know, I tend to kind of mix everything in the bucket and just whatever comes out comes out. I have noticed that over the years with having the chicken manure that all of my property is very nitrogen rich, right, from the chicken manure. So I tend not to add a lot of that to my compost tea because it's already abundant. That's what I use in the end of the year. In the fall and the winter is I top all my gardens with the chicken coop cleanup that I do, right? With the straw, the hay, the chicken poop, and it all goes onto my garden. So I have an abundance of nitrogen here on the property already, and I mostly focus on the phosphorus and the potassium. So there's a lot of really cool ways that you can save money, and fertilizer is definitely one of them. It's my favorite time of year, you guys. It's a lot of work, and I know that we're all weeding and probably getting fed up with it, but I want to encourage you to keep going because, you know, when it's all done and everything's growing and you're getting your fresh produce and it's so rewarding, and then you have time to go sit out in your lawn and do some grounding and some meditating and knowing that your cupboards are going to be full. Now, I don't know if you guys do any canning or preserving of your garden stuff, but I do. I do an abundance of it. I will be trying to get out some videos again this year, but it's tough, not only time-wise, but my hands get so dirty from gardening. You know, I have tons of gloves, but I like getting my hands in the dirt. Again, we're grounding that way. I tend to do a lot of my gardening in bare feet. Even when it's a little on the chillier side, you know, you can put on a nice pair of 100% wool socks and still get the benefits from the earth. So if you have any questions regarding fertilizer, leave them down below in the comment section. Now, I also do a lot of my own composting. It's really easy to make a compost bin, you guys. You just go get free pallets. Now, the reason pallets are the best is you want the airflow in it, right? So you build basically a box and you just start throwing things in there. You want to go green, brown. So like your grass clippings and then your leaves and then your kitchen scraps, right? Now, typically in a compost, I never put meat and I never put eggs into my compost. Everything else is pretty much okay because it'll break down and add nutrients. But those things like dairy products, I don't put dairy products in there. But all of it. And now when it comes to composting, it's not a quick thing. You know, if you start a compost bin, say this year, you're going to have good soil in maybe 2 years, right? And that's if you're layering it properly and you're flipping it around. You don't want it to get too hot. What am I looking at? Is that a coyote? It is. It's a baby. Oh, it's a baby coyote, you guys. Hang on. I want to see if you guys can see this little feller. You see him in the field? Look at him. He's so cute. He's looking for his mama. Hey? I hope you guys can see that. Anyways, it's so distracting. There's so many animals around here. Between the birds, the bees, the butterflies, the coyotes, the cows, the chickens. Uh-oh, I've gone and done it now. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on my channel. Smash the thumbs up if you learned anything new. Put your comments down below and have a wonderfully blessed day. Bye-bye.